Hello everyone, my name is Phil Chambers and I am here to bring you all of the news about Kenny Omega's appearance on Impact Wrestling mere minutes ago. Yeah, they were teasing it all the way through the show. Kenny Omega, he was on some big tour bus and they were basically teasing that Josh Matthews was going to interview him at some point, but they obviously made everyone wait until the end of the show. But before that, they had Tony Khan appear because he'd bought an advert on Impact so that he could appear, and he basically talked about how he was fine with this happening. He thinks it could be a good thing for AEW, but he's disappointed in the way that Kenny Omega did it. He was there with Tony Schiavone, who seemed only there to just be mocked by Tony Khan most of the time. But the biggest thing coming out of this little segment was Tony Khan teasing that he has some investments in Nashville. He sees what's going on in Impact Wrestling. There's some good tag teams down there. He might come and check them out. And there's even been rumors, this is coming out of Tony Khan's mouth, even rumors that he might buy Impact Wrestling. So Tony Khan teasing, I guess, buying Impact Wrestling. But yeah, he ends up just mocking Tony Schiavone, saying that he was in Impact, right? And yeah, he lasted like a day and then he quit wrestling for 18 years. It was just a fun little advert, very cheesy, very tongue-in-cheek, mainly just advertising AEW the night after tomorrow night. So the biggest thing from this, obviously, was right at the very end of the show when Kenny Omega and Don Callis were being, I guess, interviewed. It sort of, maybe by Josh Matthews. Josh Matthews was there, basically. That's about all they had to do with it. And they came out and they were in the tour bus and they had a ceremonial changing of the plates on the AEW Championship, and they threw away the Jon Moxley one and put on the Kenny Omega one. They mocked Josh Matthews for his time in WWE. They even brought up saying that, like, oh yeah, you were with Ambrose, weren't you? Bringing Ambrose up. And then, yeah, they basically go on to talk about Kenny Omega's and Don Callis' history together, how 27 years ago, Don Callis was trained by the Golden Sheik, who is Kenny Omega's uncle, and 27 years ago he got introduced to Kenny Omega, who was a 10-year-old curly-haired kid, and ever since then they've been family. Like Don Callis was saying how he's looked after Kenny Omega, how the Sheik looked after him. They go on to say that Don Callis, like, would I get back into the wrestling business just to have a podcast? Would I do it just to be the color commentator on New Japan? No, this has been part of a wider plan all along. It was their plan for Don Callis to be there when Kenny won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in New Japan. It was their plan for Don Callis to return to Impact Wrestling. It was their plan for Tony Khan to invite Don Callis in for when Kenny Omega beat Hangman Page in that tournament. It was their plan for when Don Callis to be there on commentary when Kenny Omega won the AEW Championship, and this has been their plan all along. They make history, and then Kenny Omega came on and he just teased a lot of things, doesn't he? Really, it's just a massive tease. They spoke about, like, why are they here? He spoke about how he feels like the old him again. He spoke about his time when he was a kid and he was a bit of a collector and he used to like collecting comic books, but he gave it up because he could never find the rarest of the rare, the Action Comics #1, that very best of the best comic books. He could never find them, but now he has a new hobby, and his hobby is obviously wrestling, and now he has the rarest prize in the game with the AEW Championship. And wouldn't it be nice if he could add a few prizes to his collection? They tease about how Impact has wrestlers there. They've got a very good champion and he could maybe collect one of their belts. He called it the Spider-Man #1 of wrestling belts. And yeah, basically just teased how Kenny Omega wants to be this journeyman traveling wrestler who goes around collecting wrestling belts, and maybe that is the direction that they're gonna go with Kenny Omega. They also teased that they have a big announcement on AEW Dynamite, because of course they weren't gonna give everything away on Impact Wrestling. He teased that they're like, oh, you have seen nothing when you saw the Lex Express. Kenny Omega's version of that is gonna knock it out of the water. So yeah, he's gonna have the Lex Express, the Golden Express, whatever he wants to call it, who knows. And he's gonna tease around going around collecting wrestling belts. Now, there was nothing in here about how a working relationship between Impact and AEW is going to work. He teased perhaps going into New Japan. They spoke about New Japan quite a lot. But yeah, this was very much a night of teasers and no real answers. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the future coming out of this. But for the meantime, it's pretty exciting. You can go and watch Impact on Impact Plus, although I'm sure they've got it on their YouTube channel, the clips of the Kenny Omega thing by now, because it's probably the biggest thing to happen on Impact in quite some time. But yeah, like I say, no real answers about what this relationship's going to be going forward. Just a lot of teasers, and I would not be surprised if you see Kenny Omega start to collect a few more wrestling belts on his AEW championship journey. But that's it. Let me know what you think of all of this in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers, and you can follow everyone at WhatCulture, at WhatCulture WWE. But most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day. Goodbye.